Welcome back to Geometry Classroom. This time we'll talk about mid-segments of triangles. We'll learn what is a mid-segment, and we're going to use properties of triangle mid-segments to find the missing segments. But for now, let's define what is a mid-segment of a triangle. A mid-segment of a triangle is a segment that joins the midpoints of two sides of the triangle and has two main properties. A mid-segment is parallel to the third side of the triangle and is half of this side. Every triangle has three mid-segments, which form so-called mid-segment triangle. As we can see here, X, Y, and Z are the midpoints of the sides of the triangle, right? X is the midpoint of QP, Y is the midpoint of QR, and Z is the midpoint of PR, right? Now, if we join points X and Y, we get the first mid-segment. And according to this statement, the mid-segment XY is parallel to PR, which is the third side, and is half of this side. Another mid-segment is YZ, and YZ is parallel to the third side, which is PQ, and is half of PQ. And the last one, XZ, is parallel to QR and is half of QR. So we have so-called mid-segment theorem. Now, the segment connecting the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half as long as that side. Yep. So DE is parallel AC and DE is half of AC. Now, I will rewrite this statement for you, and I will explain you why. Now, instead of DE equals 1/2 of AC, I would say AC equals 2 times DE. These two statements are equivalent, means the same thing. But I suggest when you deal with mid-segments to use the second expression. Why? Because it's easier to handle multiplication than division, right? So whenever you have problems with mid-segments, start all the time with the longest segment. Would be better for you. You'll avoid mistakes. Good. Now, let's have some practice problems with mid-segment. In this example, L, M, and N are the midpoints of the sides of triangle PQR, yeah? Good. PR, right? Let's say PR is 46. PQ is 40. And LN is 17. Find each measure, right? So we need to find LM, let's say LM MN, QR, and MR. Now, LM is this segment, right? Because L and M are the midpoints of these two sides, LM would be a mid-segment. What we know about a mid-segment is half of the third side is parallel to the third side and is half of the third side. What is the third side? Is PR. PR, we know, is 46. And LM is half of 46. Good? So we can write LM equals 46 over 2. If we divide by 246, you're going to get 23. So that's the length of LM. Now, let's find the length of MN. MN, yeah, is another mid-segment. Why? Because L, M, and N are both midpoints of these two sides. Now, according to the mid-segment theorem, this mid-segment is parallel to the third side, which is PQ in this case, and is half of PQ. So, MN would be equal 40, yeah, divided by 2, which is 20. So this is 20. And this is 23. Good. Now, this time, let's find QR. Yeah. So this time we have to find not a mid-segment, but a side of the triangle. Now, to find the length of this side, we have to relate this side with its corresponding mid-segment. What is the corresponding mid-segment for this side? Is LN. As we can see, L and N are the midpoints of these sides, right? So LN is another mid-segment and is parallel to the third side, which is QR, and is half of this side. But this time, we have to find the side of the triangle. Now, to find the length of QR, we have to use the other way. Yeah, we go backward. Now, the mid-segment is given, and we need the side. How we find the length of the side? By multiplying the length of the mid-segment by 2. So QR would be 17 times 2, which is 34. So the length of QR is 34. Good. Now, what's left? MR. Where is MR? MR. Yeah? MR is half of QR. Why? Because point M, according to the problem, is a midpoint of QR. And we know a midpoint divides a segment into two congruent other segments, which means MR would be congruent MQ, because M is in the middle. So we can conclude MR would be 34 divided by 2, which is 17. Good. Let's have another case, this time with expressions, right? So it says find the value of x, knowing this segment is the mid-segment for this triangle, right? These points are the midpoints of these two sides. So it says then find the length of the mid-segment. In other words, the length of this segment. Now, we know, according to the mid-segment theorem, the mid-segment is half of the third side and is parallel to the third side, right? Now, as I mentioned before, in order to avoid confusion and mistakes, I suggest to start always with the longest side, which is this side in this case, yeah? So we have to write the equation, set up the equation, because we need the value of x, right? So we start with the longest side, 19x minus 36, right? This side, yeah, is twice as the mid-segment. Twice as long as the mid-segment means multiplication by 2. So we write equals 2 times. Now, is twice as long as the mid-segment. But in order to make sure we multiply by 2 the whole segment, we use parentheses, right? So we open parentheses and we write the length of the mid-segment, which is 6x plus 31. Good. If you open the parentheses, don't forget to close it. Now we have an equation. How we solve the equation? By simplifying the right side. How? By using the distributive property of multiplication over addition. So we multiply 2 by 6x and then 2 by 31. So we're going to have 19x minus 36 equals 2 times 6 is 12, right? And then write x. 2 times 31 would be 62. Good. And now we start solving the equation. Now, 12x and 19x are on opposite sides of the equation. So we combine like terms, x terms, on the left side. Why? Because the coefficient of this term is less than the coefficient of the other term. How? By subtracting 12x on both sides. Yeah? So we combine 19x minus 12x would be 7x. We bring down 36 equals. These two cancel out and we bring down 62. Then we get rid of 36 by adding 36 on both sides. And we get 7x equals, we add them and we get 98. Then we divide by 7 because we have to get x alone. And we're going to get x equals 14. That's the value of x. But pay attention. What he says here, then find the length of the mid-segment. We are not done. So how you find the length of the mid-segment? By plugging in, right, the value of x right here. Yeah? So you're going to have 6 times 14 plus 31, which is 6 times 14 equals 84, right? Plus 31 would be 115. That's the length of the mid-segment. So it's all we have for today. We'll see you soon with another topic. Stay safe and see you next time.